friend said to me, I want to get regret tattooed backwards on my forehead, because if I ever ask myself why anyone would get a tattoo, I can just look in the mirror and I say to him, well, then I can just regret knowing you and inform you of this every 2 minutes. Then it'll be like you have a living, breathing tattoo walking around. I haven't seen my friend in a while. Let there be something linear my possibility retains. What is there left? I'm become a name. Died the ghost. Would have kept me there outside of names. Newspaper discoveries elucidate the common man. No more. We spring to electric blocks at the first sight of some new shit happening. Ask 25th hand. With the latest update on catastrophe from friends. We go about nothing at all but in books. Some of them pretty old. I suppose that's the paradox of this century. That with increasing celerity, the technological horn is drunk an endless horn. And the chugging beast wakens others to either do their reading on a tablet or take pretty hard to the words on and of a page. If one subscribes to the belief that everything can be described in words, one will eventually find something for which there are no words. And to accept that is what gives those objects and events a meaning in the mind.
Earth's good because it's quiet. This is Earth.
But only in the mind.
And it's like...
To accept that is what gives those objects and events a meaning in the mind that is clearly seen, but only in the mind, and secures us in more lucid reality or dimension or something. Paradoxically, to assume a word for something without is to deny the thing or things of meaning and enclose one in the dark. In other words, the nameless object, when one assumes they can apply a name for it, outside the nameless object, in their heads, one that can actually be arranged in English, that is, will dishonor that known money primitive in us. Money primitive, packaged behind the security of our ribs as a remoter union, understood between us and all grand space and time. The appliance of some foreign quiddity in us, an intimate though unplaced control. Pulses without instincts of the heart.
Alright, cool. See how it's all
Shaken with some generous physical vibration of that universe and the laughter of our glinting, powerful blood that likens us to cosmic certainty and seems like something vague to perception, like a benevolent gas, maintaining ignorance, transferring answers to questions, rife within our speckled and imperfect eyes. This is the truth of the object. It is nameless because that is what it is. And yet what to say about the things we do not see in our heads, do not see in front of us? Surely such things are nameless too. I looked at my hands, down at them, and saw them dimly in the deep night. I then put them to my face and rubbed my cheeks from the cold. By then I had gone outside for a cigarette on his porch, the house of a friend. I found myself alone. After some chick had made vacuous small talk with me for around 2 minutes. She left after she was done with her cigarette. without saying, see you later. And that made me feel insignificant, but not overly so. I got to thinking about my hands and how the veins were fat and blue on them. Much of these hands created, I told myself. Much of they felt for me. But as me... So we get to that point in time, that is right now, starting once again from where I started. That is with the cold nights. And me rubbing my cheeks and feeling the encroaching briskness of nightfall. Today, by some weird meteorological stint, and rather warm. Or as though the cold had all day waited to reveal, to make up for the day's pleasantness, and give the grass frost for the morning to turn into dew. So yes, my hands, they were good hands. Yes, I told myself, nimble, interestingly shaped hands that had created much. As cold nights usually make thoughts harder to rouse, I quit further examination on the matter for the moment. Though I would find is like how I started again with the start, that I would return by the end of this poem to the subject I had pursued before quitting further examination. Suddenly I began to think about the girl who had left. At least she should have said something in the form of a farewell, even though she probably was inside at this very moment and I had to see her again. Acquaintances are like that. The degrees of separation being 6 calls for a less dire need to expand the circumference of knowledge regarding the life of who your friend knows, since indeed you'll see them later. We'll have more time to learn about the acquaintance. You'll simply see your friend. And your friend hangs out with whoever person is frequently, if not more than you. Yes, these hands have created much, but they are as familiar to me as an acquaintance somehow. As though they moved for another individual that sometimes I saw, sometimes. And yet whoever it was these my hands belonged to would so distantly know me as to pay no mind to those very social niceties. Usually. Paradoxically. Reserved for those people known a little, yet known enough to cross over into the berms of cordiality, enough to facilitate a goodbye. My hands were my friends. Yes! And I've created much with them, and yet they work for another soul. Indeed, a soul who, while bothering to kill the silence between myself and itself, the chatter on a cold, isolated fall night, still does not, or perhaps refuses that goodbye, before parting with me once again. Until the next fleeting moment, when perhaps that god of my thoughts might manifest itself in the soul of a bored 20-something. Standing looking out at a cluster of branches, courtesy of the Swenson residence in Flatbush, you ask me if life lives itself for us. Fairly, the well is not to display bleakness, she says. I can't seem to get enough of that choking feeling, like the brain's addled, you know. It is a say, of course it is. It transfers the nasty crumpling of mine like sooty paper with rolled drum ciggies to your throat. Just don't assume too much power, too solipsism. Feelings for feelings, as if a barter system. Give and take. Needed to happen to feel alright. I say, with all this stirring in my own brains, choking. I don't know. Cast off most of what I had in mind to say with a shrug. Remark as you dip your head to shelter eyes with straight black hair that all is for peace of mind.
It feels odd. Like it should be something else.
Shrug and find the drugs you take to have inspired you. Less. Once the need presents itself, to which we will always
but time
will away
the time
from expressing.
Let's drop a venereal line to the baby fucker.
The need to be back in the New York
you're
of
going
some diamond
to,
day.
So why
Some
wait?
sort of shrug.
Take the cunt with
that
you.
marvelously lends
Meanwhile, I was leaving to get lunch with an old friend. Long drive it was.
to the god
baby
of
didn't
Baphomet.
recover. The ants smoked there. The train never came. The
choke.
ants I didn't
Chain.
plant
I
these
know.
potatoes for
I know
nothing.
you like leather.
Guess I never got it right. Never looked up to the sky like an ant.
But the weather's good.
Feeling small, ant-like. We are all
Tonight on this
burning
fire escape, we
trees.
view the urban vegetation.
She
with
never
essential peace
came
for the width of
before,
life.
but would always look
That we are
back on
free
the
to be eloquent.
situation when in the
Someday,
city,
some
studying
wisdom
fashion as a
there,
sort of
wild in the
Rest.
chest's naughtiness, the kindred guts of wear tearing inside, us
Suck.
locked in secret derision. Ashamed for
Nobody
at this
asked
point no reason but to
about it.
apprehend those gods, we shrugged off, thinking it a supplication, a sacrifice of thinking for the sake, the
Weaknesses.
thoughts at least, that we adorn our veritableness inside, free us from the bounds of what?
After all, should be restrained until she discovered her
Danger,
illness.
lost limits and therefore insanity, sprung out into the wild void our chest
Too bad.
evokes.
But she found the guy and gave it to him, all right. Her face
The
looked
Nazi.
like a cherub as she sweated, so benign, so innocent, so ever-loving.
But the
The lovely
screw
music plucks itself
in
out.
Flatbush.
The guitar
They have
grows.
their zombie talk.
each
They
note.
have their music. They're cavorting. We have music. We have music, but only secretly.
Art's good
We
because
show no
it's
one else.
quiet. This is art because
Or you don't. I don't know about me. No others who are similar better.
and it's like
Since I'm a void by default.
it's like
And I told my girlfriend this. There can be only one type of void. You know. So by default, similar people we are, I guess. I was related to the awkwardness. Too much stance. Too much of something given
And whatever
supplication to the
terminology
dance of
I could
society.
create
A play.
whatever existence
Wage
preceding
war on the prayer.
whatever essence.
It will pray back.
Well,
Until a nutty solar unit
I
of
have my
stars
body.
is left
That
to
is
choking
existence
itself.
enough.
And everything you value so
I see
much,
the body as
lost
a
in the plumes,
That is essence enough.
is left for the throat to fill to the brim.
And whatever poetry
Beyond a prim nudging too
lies
much,
not in any
gummy obviousness. When all
of heaven and hell.
all I want to say is,
But
I
in
value
something much
this.
the more that
and
does
you,
not combine nor consume, but absorb all into
tonight got
an
squared with them.
irrefragable.
Supposedly I get bills
irrefragable.
finally. Nothing came of it
Lagging.
though, and we end up broke. The
Bag.
boyfriend of some chick I want to screw with blue eyes shows up. Ends up
Placing
having cash,
shit.
so we took cash. Fuck it. Grope later.
I don't
For
even
now, I
know
wish
what
I
I'm
could
saying
booze it.
anymore.
Fill the solo
But
cup.
I hope there is something.
Drill brains, maybe. Just kill pains and lose it. Follow the Dutch and
And
look at my fake
maybe
Rolo watch every 5 minutes.
if I
Take dinner at
tried,
some diner at 5 in the morning, but I don't ever feel
I
alive
could
in these
create
hearts.
a
Throat's itchy from too many
justice
ciggy snacks. The dude backs off to bed,
for the
waiting
place
for blue eyes to give head before it's sunny. His voice,
that cannot become.
grating. Couldn't get it out of my mind,
And only when I am there
much less your mind,
shall I hand the torch.
blue eyes.
back
And
to
he
the fire.
tried to light everyone's hit from the bowl with a hemp string. Some king, I guess. But really, it's my loss.
Oh, are you saying like because
I doze off and find waking that she's gone to bed with him.
you paid for this and like you
Feeling stressed off the perks.
Yeah.
I'm slightly nauseous. It's 6, and I can hear the sex in the other room. Boss her for favors to relieve his ex, the meaningless doom, or rather doom of meaninglessness, breathless. It's 6, and all I can think of is clouds and ocean. Imagine a postcard, call my friend, no pickup. Retard. Chasm. Can't sleep with all this noisy organ. Phlegm, coughs, to relieve the itch in the throat for a moment with a stop in it instead. I close my eyes reluctantly, drape over my coat in a funny position on the sort of couch thing lounging apparatus, whatever. Fuck the fucking king. I never did end up getting that money, and by now tomorrow's fully squared, situated there. Stuff like mitigating factors.
Unless you are
Active addiction.
a pedophile
Congeal around my mind like crud around an old man's
of the
mouth.
sort who goes against
And the real actor, meanwhile, styles himself.
being
Ultimate bold,
DC Comics
bowl torture. Humane.
Keep on going, keep
Yeah,
on
he's
going.
the man.
Yes.
Lame.
And then all of a sudden it came up.
I wake up myself already, only half asleep anyway with the scuff. Doff mind to run off. Real momentary sleepy havoc. Itch stomach. Itch stomach.
Jesus.
These lovebirds live between brutally paper-thin dorm walls.
From the
It's a
lack
scorch.
of
Wait.
Huh?
Go.
Just balls.
I am Bonig 3000. If there are 4 of me in a group walking
I'm
down
looking
the
for
street,
form I find myself to
I will make
get.
white people anxious.
The word faker goes on in my mind's damaging. I'm still the real king, though, the fucking res. And can light my own damn weak thinking. Give your giving to Blue Eyes and let me scrape resin. The light of shitty sun gives it to me when I make it back to my own dorm room. Lay on a sheetless mattress, force cry. Fill the pages with ruin, blind ire. For what do I run to the bathroom? To assume all this as nothing but pitch blend that makes me shit lumpy fire out of my ass's bleeding guts. Thinking of an uneven, unbelievable pretend.
What?
This some odd shit. Adult playground. All this illness ends rotten with me being too tired and skipping class again. Shaping doom like art from my ass. Clipping blunts. And carefully at that, carefully. For the sake of my broke self. Health of wax and self. Fire in the self. Made waiting shit.
You will be quite
Spurious.
amazed.
Resigned. I glossed over too much when I had too much plenty. Lost that with too many chances to find, to recognize the chance at all. Anymore. Dusting off another clip under bed. I tried to dust off what since the sense of mission came about, drugs had made suspicious instead. I wish to find. Really? Perhaps so as to pardon myself of sins of idleness and too much damn capital. And think this, at this point with not a pretense of ease there, I beg this, sitting up, to light the clip. I think thoughts. Please bind, please bind. If only the drag of drags were a kiss to me the way it might be fitting for another mind. Enough. Enough. For that blessed perspective in that cranium. Too out of complacence, ignorance, and wise at that. To slaughter. As quick as my water weight will shave off itself in slugs of sweat for the rest of that hot afternoon. Shit! I lost my watch. Paper-thin walls, inhumanly guttural moans of a throat from overfed white people, a throaty mess, groping to croon.
The prison of my